Welcome back to another Sunday night show with Johnboy and Snicko. Look, we've had a hell of a round to review, and we've got a hell of a round to preview. With the SRL bets coming, well, it's all the more important that we get to the show as quick as possible so that you know where my predictions lie for the upcoming round. But round 8 was an explosive one, and we'll cover off it real quick. On Monday night, the Tigers took on the Seagulls, and they outlasted the Seagulls 24 points to 12 in a barnstorming clash. The Seagulls, they were behind the 8 ball from the start. They managed to claw their way back late. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too little too late. The Tigers extend their claws into the top 4, and they win yet another well-fought game in the end. I think it was margin of 12, 9 to 18. Comfortable win for them in the end. But then we had the Roosters taking on the Panthers. And talking about comfortable with the Roosters, they did lose a star, 48 points to 12, in a destruction reminiscent of some of the Roosters teams of old. In particular, Ned did Kelly scoring 2 in the first 8 minutes, I think, give or take. As a personal highlight, Snicko and Dolan and Snicko, I should say, will be particularly happy after some of the bad luck they've had in Sims. It's a very, very well-deserved win for the Roosters, who seem to elevate up towards that top 8 that they want to cling to very dearly. And now the last game on round 8 was the Dogs taking on the Raiders. And the Raiders, they got out very, very lucky. The Dogs suffer late heartbreak again. It was a last-minute try to the Raiders that sealed the deal. Unfortunately, couldn't hold them out after a miraculous turnover. So the Raiders be gifted field position with 30 seconds left with the last play of the game, and the Raiders scored a try to break Bulldogs' hearts in Belmore. Now, your first game on Tuesday was us taking on the Finn Manning Project. Obviously, you won 80 points to nil. It was way closer than the score suggested. It's actually only 6-0 at half time, and for the majority of the game, in fact, before 2 late tries to yours truly sealed the deal. I'm sure we're going to get 2 very nice highlights from Josh Pretz of my actions that game, and nothing untoward, I'm sure. But the Bunnies were brave, and they should feel very confident that they've pushed a lot of good teams recently, and that the win will come eventually, I'm sure. And now, your last game Tuesday was the Cowboys taking on the Eels, including 30 points to 12. The kicking on display was a particular high. Darius Mitchell, well, he led the Cowboys across the park. He did it with a plum, about 2 or 3 forced 40-20s. Were the difference separating them and the Eels. Unfortunately, kicking for the Eels just wasn't up to scratch, and there wasn't much Luke Short and co could do but watch as the Cowboys were up to an impressive win. Now, the upset of the round, quite possibly the upset of the season, was the Dolphins getting up 30 points to 4 over the Wires in Penrose. I don't know what Justin Plays is feeding his men, but they played like a team possessed by the spirit of the Dolphins from last season. The same Dolphins that knocked out the Wires, mind you, in the elimination finals. Now, I would not say that I told you so, but what I did predict that the Dolphins would do a big upset, and the Justin Plays chat JPT, the Justin Plays assance, it continues, and the Dolphins look to 3 from the top 4 yet again. And now their last game saw a brave Knights team go down 60 points to 10. They started hot the Knights went up 6-0 early, and the Storm rallied back to make it 16 points to 6. Despite a late try to the Knights, they couldn't score that last try to get them over the hump. And in the end, the Storm had too much quality and were too good for the bid from the Steel City. And now, with that all wrapped up, we have one hell of a show for you. Sit back, get a beverage. It'll be a good one, I'm sure. Another episode of the Johnboy and Snicko show coming very, very soon. And welcome back to another week of the Sunday show with Johnboy and Snicko. It's a pleasure to be here. Snicko's made it 3 weeks in a row. It's an absolute miracle. Modern miracle it is. But it's a pleasure to have you on the couch again, Snicko. Had a busy week recently. A lot of shock upsets, to say the least. But we'll break that down shortly. Firstly, how you been? How have you been?
I'm back, baby. The league wants me, and that's exactly what they're going to get. Another 15 minutes unfiltered of Snicko Bro on the couch.
Who gave you a license for an intro song, by the way? Is that in our budget?
Some people ask if they can do things. I ask, why can't I?
We're going to have to pay royalties to the Venga Boys at this rate. But I suppose we might as well get straight into it. There's a lot to talk about. And some SRL bets writing on what we have to say later on the show. So we'll kick on into our 6 against first, eh?
10 meters.
And now I'm not going to say I predicted the Dolphins to beat the ever-loving hell out of the Wires. But I have.
Well, that's because you didn't.
Have I not been Justin Play's biggest defender on this show? Have I not defended the Dolphins with my life? And my first 6 again speaks to this. It's the Justin Plays assance. The Dolphins are back, baby. They're in 6th place. They handled the Warriors. They're only the second team to do it all season. They did it by the biggest margin we've seen so far. Held them to 1 try. I think the Dolphins, like I said, the Dolphins are the real deal. They could win a title this year.
Yes. All right.
Bonkers.
Sorry.
They
I
beat
was
the Wars
letting you
by
go. I was letting you go for as long as I could. I don't think they can win a title, but you said it. Only good teams beat the Wars. Chat JPT said it in chat also. Look, I'm still not on board, but I'm no longer a hater.
Yeah.
No longer a hater, I will say. My first 6 again is a pretty simple one. Raiders bad.
Really?
Raiders bad. They beat the Bulldogs by 2 points.
I disagree.
They beat the Bulldogs by 2 points. If you watch that game, they took a freak intercept and then scored with less than 30
You
seconds
lost
to go.
to the Bulldogs by like 3 converted tries.
You keep looking in that mirror, you're going to crash into something in front of you, John Boy. That's in the past now. The Raiders, speaking of the past, scored 6 points. Sorry, scored 1 point last week, and they only scored 12 points this week. That's 13 points across 2 weeks. 6.5 points a game is simply not enough to win you games in the SRL.
I'm stunned, but I guess the analysis is just so breathtaking. The Roosters are pretenders. That is my second 6 again. I don't believe it. You beat a terrible Panthers team.
Bonkers.
We're not pretending about anything. Thank you very much. We know where we sit. We're coming 8th at the moment.
I don't see a
some
world.
bad teams. We're beating some good teams. Have you beat the Warriors yet, John Boy?
We wouldn't have to go and play there. Yeah, we'll beat them when we play them.
So that's a no. And if you think that we're contenders, I appreciate you, but calling us pretenders is pretty crazy.
What's it? Not every team can beat the Rabbits, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm a big believer of the Finn Manning project. I have been for weeks. My second 6 again, 4th tackle of this set. Just a little settler after your outrageous shift last play. Is that the Tigers? They actually might be all right.
No,
I've
actually,
changed my tune slightly here.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit of a meme, 19 plus, but headed by their second rowers, Roosters export Connor Post and
He's
Jeff King.
handy,
They've been
eh?
tremendous. Yeah, very, very handy. In fact, I think this could be my first prediction. I have them winning big this week.
Yeah. Connor Post has been a revelation in the second row. Well, because they're already quite good on the edges last season. Even with just
Let me tell you, I shined that diamond last year. Just for him to be plucked out of my ring.
Clearly, what's the word about bought's not built? Built?
Yeah,
No.
bought, not bred.
Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, he's been awesome for them since making the move over to the southwest of Sydney.
Nice guy as well.
Now, my third 6 again is more a question because I wasn't aware this was a thing. But Matt Galaxy and Pancake Game and Bad have some beef I wasn't aware of. There must be some serious bad blood between the Knights and the Storm because Pancake Game and Galaxy were going at it the entire game. I thought it was quite odd to see a prop going after a spine like as mouthy and as lippy as it was getting. Is there some bad blood I wasn't aware of? Because Bad Bunny was getting it and he wasn't even playing.
Bad Bunny says some strange things. We'll leave it at that. But Pancake Gamer and Galaxy, they both... Pancake Gamer, I think, mods Galaxy's YouTube from memory. They both came through at the same time.
That makes sense.
So yeah, maybe a bit friendlier banter than you anticipated, but they certainly did go hard. That is for sure.
Yeah, no, they weren't no flip-flopping, that's for sure. Now, your third 6 against Snicko.
Yes. Now, this one's a bit esoteric, but just bear with me. I think that China should never have banned shark fin soup.
What, Snicko? Why is that?
Because I think this week I'm gonna eat some shark up, and let me tell you, that's the best way to do it.
Where's my
Roosters
bonkers button, bro?
this week.
Bonkers.
Get this out of here. Get this guy out of here.
You can't stop me. For my second prediction, that's a Roosters win, and I think that's probably going to be the favoured betting option this week after how bad the Sharks were last week and the beating that we put on the Panthers. I expect the punters to fall our way.
No, look, people pay to watch defense nowadays, and that's why we defended on our line for most of the Panthers game. I suppose though, before we get too much into what's to come, Snicko, we like to look back to the past. We like to look back to what has been.
Those who fail to learn from history are condemned to repeat it.
Yeah, my Greek freak of the week. At the moment, you may have heard of the legend of Ned Kelly, the bushranger.
I have.
You may not have heard of the. Did you say you haven't?
I have. No, I have.
Oh, you have. I was going to say, I know you're a Kiwi, but I thought he was worldwide famous. Anyway, you might not have heard of Ned Kelly, the barnstorming Roosters SRL prop, who this week is my Greek freak of the week. And he is a great allegory for A young man known as Baleferon, I believe. He was a Greek hero. He was exiled, just like the Knights exiled him last year. He's come across to the Roosters, and if you watched him on Monday night against the Panthers, he absolutely led us through the trenches. 2 tries in the first 6 minutes, 6 line breaks in 40 minutes. He was a dead set freak. And if you know how that Baleferon story ends, he eventually is welcome back to the fold. So I'm hoping the Knights don't take him back. But for that reason, and for an absolutely cracking game this week, Ned Dead Kelly is my Greek freak of the week.
She is a freak of the week.
It's kind of hard to argue with the freak of the week when he literally scored 2 tries and said, like, you know, he's insane. He's in career best. Well, he's only had a season.
And would you believe the Knights wouldn't offer him a starting spot at the back end of last season? That's how he got him across.
I think, well, to be fair, he wasn't. Is he a custom?
He's a custom, yes.
Ah, interesting. Well, they did have a surplus of forwards, but they are struggling at the moment, the Knights. I'll cover that more to come, but I believe it is time for the make or break segment for this week. It is, well, time for our weekly previews. And if I'm not mistaken, the SRL bets to this week will cover my prediction, you and my prediction, sorry. And so you've locked
Our
into...
predictions.
So, given that you've gone Roosters, and that'll not happen because the Sharks are going to win, would it be, in all likelihood, would that be just cancelling each other out? I'm not sure.
I see that maths isn't your strong point.
No,
that
no.
will not cancel each other out. But anyway, as we were, I got some out early, but from here on out, I'll let you get a couple out.
All right. Well, we have a blockbusting Monday. That is to say, the very least, 3 star-studded games. We get a Queensland derby. We get Newcastle taking on the Titans in the battle of the bottom half of the table, and we get the Sunday night show derby, the grudge match for the season. It will, however, be another walk in the park for the Sharks. They're going to win against Roosters to start off at Shark Park. Chickens don't do too well when they're thrown into a pool with a shark. I've got Sharks 19 plus with ease. I'm going to score 3 tries off the bench. It should be a fun time.
Are you off the bench this week?
I am off the bench. I'm off the bench every week.
Coward.
I'm off the bench every week.
Have a
Experimenting.
crack.
Some people experiment during uni. I experiment during the games. Dolphins will beat.
Interesting.
The Dolphins will beat the Cowboys, I believe. It's going to be close. I think 1-8. They've just got something about them. Justin Plays is firing. He's in his bag, bro. He's deep in his magician's bag at the moment, pulling out wins. The Knights against the Titans. I'm not. Heart says Knights. Head says Titans. I'm going to go Knights 1-8 to get a win back and hopefully set their season maybe on a path to redemption over these last 6 rounds. Now, the Canberra Raiders going to take the Pars. I've got the Panthers in an upset. 1-8 Panthers to win. I think the Panthers, they've had such a rotten run of luck that something has to turn around. The Raiders, we've talked about them as a false economy, and I think that's where this economy crashes in the end. Warriors gets the Sea Eagles. I love the Sea Eagles. I've loved what Mitch Barnes has built. Unfortunately for him, they play a Wires team a bit angry over their last loss and willing to tear something up. I've got Wires 9-18 and a comfortable one up at the Northern Beaches. Now, your last 2 games on Wednesday, it's the Eels against the Storm and the Bunnies against the Tigers. Bunnies against Tigers will open us. And I believe in the Finn Manning project. They have to win eventually. I'm going Bunnies in an upset over the Tigers. Bunnies 9-18. Michael Moana score a double maybe late to seal a win. A famous win for the Bunnies and for Finn Manning to get his first official win as captain. The last game, I've got the Eels against the Storm. That'll be interesting. The Eels are looking for redemption. They've had, I think it's 3 losses in the trot. This would make it 4 if they lost. Unfortunately, I just see the Storm having a bit too much over them. I think 9-18 is about fair. Melbourne is coming back. They've handled the Knights last week. And in a trip to Combank, they're going to be proved have too much quality, and they're going to beat the Eels by 9-18. Snicko, well, what do you disagree with, and what is your game of the round?
I think firstly, based on the SRL bets, if anyone hits above 30%, they're crazy after what I've just listened to you just say, because you have just tanked our predictions. Secondly, game of the round for me is going to be Warriors versus Manly. I think that Manly, they're looking good. They're coming ninth at the moment. They know they need a big win to get into the 8 because we'll also win, so they need to try and jump us on points differential. And I think the Warriors have a point to prove, and for that reason, they are my game of the week. I tend to agree with your prediction there, so not really adding too much. But my other prediction, I think this could be the week Josh Pretzel finally has a crack. I'm not sure how to quantify it. Maybe a couple of try assists, 2 try assists I predict him to get. But I just think he has been
it's been tough.
Tested.
Yeah.
He's been tested this season. I reckon against a Titans team that has Max Tapake coming off the bench, he could tear up in the first half.
Well, it's been a tough season for Hookers, just in general, to be honest. We've seen some interesting plays. Simulated, of course. But we've seen some interesting plays in the last couple of weeks. Dolan had a shocker last week. What was it last? No, 2 weeks ago. Sorry.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what the future brings. But from my end, that'll look like for your SRL bits. You will want the Cronulla Sharks to win, the Dolphins to win, Newey over the Gold Coast, Penrith over the Raiders, Wise over the Seagulls, Bunnies over the Tigers, and Storm over the Eels. And hopefully earn you some sweet coins. I'm, of course, going to be going SRL Bet 3 because I know I'm going 100% this week.
Don't forget my random ones throughout the show.
Yeah, keep a track
cut
of those.
them up, please.
Yeah, I'm sure AMAC will do it for us. But otherwise, Snicko, it's been a pleasure to have you as always. We'll catch you guys at the same time next week. In the meantime, take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you later. Mwah.
Your time is up, my time is now. You can't see me, my time is now. It's the franchise where I'm shining now. You can't see me, my time is now. In case you forgot or fell off, I'm still hot, knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business, I live this, it's automatic. I win this, so you hear those